Shalom, Rabbi.
Shalom Uvracha.
I welcome you again coming
Thank
to
you
our
very much.
show. I'm very glad to have you
It's
here.
a pleasure.
Would you please tell us today about Soulmate?
Soulmates is actually one of my favorite topics,
Sure.
very important topic, and it concerns the two best matches
Yes.
for each other.
Yes.
Two individuals who are the best for each other. And according to the Jewish tradition, according to the Kabbalah, the soul consists of a male and female. The soul, the ruh,
Ruh.
has two
Ham ruh.
parts.
Ham
Right,
ruh.
exactly. It has two parts to it.
Yes.
And if the two meet, they have the best life possible because they are for each other.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
complement each other. They can get along better with each other. So a soulmate, maybe if we can translate in Farsi, hamdam or hamnafas
Ham nafas.
or
I wish you
hamsar.
could speak
Yeah.
Farsi.
No, this is the idea that the two are able to work together.
Yeah.
The two think alike. They don't argue with each other so much. This is the best match possible.
Yeah.
That is what a soulmate is. One belongs to the other, and if they do meet, they have the best marriage possible. They have the greatest potential for success together.
Yes. از جناب ربای سوال کردم. I'm going to translate
I
a
can-
little bit.
Sure.
Because it's important. پرسیدم که چطوریه در ازدواج میگن soulmate. مطمئن نیستم که این درسته یا نه که جفت انسان و کسی که آدم باش ازدواج میکنه مثل هم نفسش هم روحش هست. چطوری هستش؟ راجع به soulmate صحبت کنم. Excuse me, Rabbi. How we can find it out who is your soulmate?
That's a good question that many singles are asking this day.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is, according to our tradition, it is very important to remember that God conducts everything in this world.
Yes.
He leads us to our soulmate if we allow him to. If we do not interfere with him, eventually we will meet at the right place at the right time. As long as we do not interfere, as long as we're not picky, as long as we don't have unreasonable requests of the person we want to marry, he will match us up with the right person. It happens in different ways. With some people, like in Iran, in the olden days, they had arranged marriages. So God puts it into the minds of the parents who should marry who. And it ends up being the right match. Not always, as I will explain.
Yeah, you surprised me.
Yeah, but it depends on the tradition, on the culture.
Yes.
In some cultures, there is arranged marriages.
Yes.
And even though we think that the parents are arranging it, in reality, God is arranging it in heaven for them to think of the right person. In our society, many times people go out. They can meet in the hospital, they can meet on a cruise, they can meet on a vacation.
I believe that.
Or they can be a matchmaker involved. But as long as God is involved directly, they will meet. As long as he's involved. But sometimes, unfortunately, people interfere. People
Yes.
make problems. And they don't necessarily meet with the right person.
Problem like what?
Parents getting sometimes involved. The boy looking for money or the girl looking for money. And maybe the real soulmate doesn't have money. And he's the best match, the best person for you. He has such good qualities. Why do you want a degree? Why do you want him to have money? Money is not important. Money comes, money goes. Don't you want the best person? Don't you want a husband that will love you and respect you? Don't you want a wife that will treat you like a king? Isn't that the most important thing in life? But unfortunately, people are not looking for these values,
Yes.
and they therefore don't always find the best match possible.
You know, Rabbi, I am the person that I always think about my heart, with my heart.
Right.
There is a question for me. Can you live only with love?
No. Obviously, everyone needs to survive. Everybody
Yes,
needs
you
to make
see?
a living, obviously.
Yes.
But you know what? I'll tell you something. If people really love each other and they have great respect for each other,
That's important.
nothing will break down the relationship. I
course.
agree and I will admit that poverty makes life difficult.
Yes.
But a terrible marriage is worse than poverty. You
You're
can be
right.
very wealthy, you can have millions of dollars, but if you don't have respect between the husband and wife, it's not worth anything. So love conquers everything. Love is the most powerful. And it obviously helps for them to be able to make a living. But a good relationship is the most important thing in life.
They said if there is a love, Hashem is there.
Of course, the Shekhinah is there.
Yes.
That's correct.
How we can find our soulmate?
According to our tradition, 40 days before the formation of the fetus,
Yes.
when the child is still a baby in the mother's womb, it has already been decided who he will marry.
Really?
The daughter of Mr. So-and-so will be his wife.
Wow.
So eventually, at some point at age 20, 22, 24, 25, they will meet. One way or another, unless, of course, the individual postpones his marriage, delays his marriage, goes to college, then, God forbid, sometimes he may lose his soulmate. So if he, as I mentioned earlier, if you do not conduct yourself in an improper way,
Yes.
you do not have unreasonable requests, you do not interfere with God's plan, everything will happen by itself. All of a sudden, a friend, a cousin, a teacher will knock on your door and say, I have somebody for you.
Wow.
Sometimes the girl comes to the boy, sometimes the boy goes after the girl. But I need to remind the men that it usually has to be the man who looks for the woman, the man who makes the initiative. If he doesn't find where he lives, he has to travel. He has to make an effort, because even though he will make it happen, you
Yeah.
can't sit home and do nothing. You can't just postpone it indefinitely. You really have to have a desire to get married. And then if you help yourself, God will help you. As long as you want to succeed in this marriage, as
Yes.
long as you want your true other half, He will help you. It requires a lot of faith, and it requires a lot of prayer, but it also requires good conduct. If a man or woman are not behaving themselves, if they're playing around, living intimately with another individual, not for purposes of getting married, then they may ruin the chances of finding the best match possible.
Yes. Everybody has a soulmate, Rabbi.
For the most part, most people have a soulmate, because the soulmate is the other half of the soul.
Everybody has.
Yes, for the most part, yes.
So how come some people born to this life, they go on and they never married?
That's a very good question. There are, unfortunately, in this generation, more
Yes.
than ever, too many single men, too many single women.
Why?
And there is several reasons, not one. One reason, one explanation is
Yes.
that in this generation, many people are going to college and spending many, many years becoming doctors, PhDs. The girl who's 18, 19, 20 will not wait so long. She wants to get married, settle down, have children, start a family. After 28, 29, it becomes harder to find the right
Yes.
person.
Yes.
Then there are those individuals who got used to having girlfriends or
Yeah.
boyfriends. They don't want to get married. Today, many people are not as interested as in the past. And then you have the Iranian culture. We need money.
Oh, yeah.
I have to spend $50,000 for the wedding.
Yes.
I have to spend so much on the DJ, the music,
Yes.
the singer,
Yes.
the flowers. And this prevents them from getting married if they don't have the money.
If somebody has it, they do it. If they don't have it, why
Of course.
they have to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
If they really, really wanted to get married, they should not care about the music and the flowers.
Yes.
This is a priority. To start a family should be the most important priority in life. Unfortunately, people are waiting for money, people are waiting for good looks,
Yes.
and that's
It
why...
can't happen everything together.
No, that's a second reason.
Yes.
Then, of course, people are doing things that are not right
Yes.
in the eyes of God. And what happens when one does not do the right thing in the eyes of God, there are accusations in heaven.
Wow.
This is a beautiful gift we're about to give you. Your best match, but maybe you don't deserve it now.
You're right.
So people are doing all sorts of things, delaying it, not being too interested in it, not deserving it,
Yes.
and it becomes more difficult as you get older.
Yeah. Excuse me, Rabbi Kin. Many people call us, and one of the people that called me, and she told me, if somebody wants to have an education, it's better to get married and then have an education. Because you told me they have to have education, this and that and that. So what is the solution for this?
It used to be in the past that one was able to get the education necessary.
Yes.
He was even able to buy a home
Yes.
and then get married. Today, everything is so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
If one waits to get married after he bought a home, he may have
Yes.
to wait 20 years.
Wow.
He may have white hair by then.
Yeah.
The same thing with an education. Education sometimes requires many years. It doesn't pay to wait. Many people have successfully gotten a degree after they were married.
Yeah.
As long as the parents helped out a little bit, supported them during
So
the
still
first
parents
year.
has to help?
If they can, it should
Yeah.
be a privilege.
Yes,
It
sure.
should be
Sure.
it should be something that they should want to do on their own.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So if it's a year or two of studying, of education, it could wait after the marriage.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen if they wait.
Is that true for real that we are going to marry with a person that is our soulmate?
I wish it was always true, but it does not always happen so. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are looking for money or for looks.
Yeah.
I asked a
Yes.
lot of singles, tell me what would you do if you had three choices? Three girls to marry. One is beautiful, one has a lot of money, and one has good character, good nature. Who will you choose?
I choose the third one.
You would. Unfortunately, many people are choosing the money, choosing the beauty. And you know what happens with age? The beauty sometimes disappears.
Yes.
And what happens to money? Sometimes it
It's
also
gone.
disappears.
Yes.
But good character and good nature,
Can make everything.
that will only make everything. It's important for several reasons. Number one, the good character goes in the genes, goes to the children.
Ah, yeah.
Do you know that it is easier to get married than to stay married? People can get married easily, but to stay married is much more difficult.
You're
What
right.
will make people stay together? If there's good character.
Understand each other,
Understand?
care
Sure.
about each other.
Sure, sure. That is
Yeah.
that is a guarantee that the marriage will stay intact.
Yes.
So that is therefore always more important. But not everybody sees it that way.
Yes.
They're later disappointed. They got stuck with somebody that they don't like. Even though they wanted the money, they wanted the beauty, but at the end they realize she cannot be a good mother for my children. What is her money worth? And that is why you have many divorces.
You know, if the time passed by and the time for our getting to married and we can't find our soulmate, what we shall do? How can we find it?
I always tell people never to give up hope. In Judaism,
Yes.
in the Torah, it is very much emphasized, never give up hope. We have a very strong connection with the Almighty. Prayer is very effective.
Yes.
If you are sincere, especially if you shed tears, you can break down all the barriers between
You
you
do
and
what?
God.
Excuse me?
You can break down with prayer and tears. You can
You
break.
should cry?
Yes, because that shows sincerity. In your prayer, when you shed tears, it shows you are sincere. It's coming from your heart.
Oh my God.
You really mean it. And our tradition says that a prayer that is accompanied with tears breaks down all the barriers between us and God.
Oh my
It goes straight through. And it could make a big change in one's qismat, in one's mazal.
Yes.
A big change, a big difference. And therefore, what I recommend is number one, that one should be sincere about his desire to get married.
Yes.
Are you sincere? Do you really want to? Number two, are you making every effort? Are you contacting matchmakers? Are you flexible about what you need in a marriage?
Yes.
Are you open-minded that you may not get to everything you want? Because you know what the trick is? The trick is to convince people you're not going to get what you want. Hopefully you will get what you need. And we don't always know what we need. So we're sometimes confused. We want this, we want this, we want this. It's not what you want, it's what you need. So people have to be a little bit more flexible, more open-minded, not to allow the parents to mix in too much, and definitely not to look at money or looks, to look at good character, good nature. And don't push it off. Be quick about it, because if you wait too long, your chances of finding the right person diminish. They become smaller. It becomes more difficult. And you
Yes.
get used to your life as a single person. You lose interest in getting married. And in those people who have girlfriends and boyfriends, they're going to have a harder time.
It's not good to have a boyfriend or girlfriend?
No, not
In
our
America?
not in our tradition. Your wife will be hopefully your friend, your spouse, and the mother of your children. Before that, you have your sister and your mother and your grandmother.
Yes.
Nobody else.
Yes. Can we have more than one soulmate? This is a very, very bad question.
No, that's a good question.
I didn't know that if I'm going to ask you.
No, you know why that's a good question? Because God forbid, what happens if somebody's wife passed away?
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah,
Could he find somebody as good as her?
sure.
Should he get married?
Yeah, of course.
Of course he should try to find a wife. The question, of course, is how
Wife
old
or husband?
wife or husband, depending who's the widow.
Yes.
It is possible that if his wife died early on, even
Yes.
though he had children with her, that he has another soulmate waiting, another
To-
person who they can have a very good wife, a very good
Yes.
life together. Maybe not as good as the first, but maybe very, very close, as good as the life he had before. If it's later in life, he's already 70 years old, he should still get married for company. It's
Yes.
not good to be alone. So it is possible, depending at what stage in one's life one got divorced or one lost his wife or husband.
Yeah. How can it happen two soulmates get separate?
Oh, this is so sad.
It is.
The rabbis tell us in the Talmud, in the Gemara, that when two people are for each other and they are the best matched, the real soulmates, they should never really get divorced because there's no better match.
Yeah.
How come it happens nevertheless?
They get bored.
No, worse. Either the husband becomes an addict, a drug addict,
Oh, no.
alcoholic,
Yes.
or he gets too interested in other women.
But he
Or
is
the-
with the soulmate. Well, how come he goes with the another woman?
Excellent question, because people make stupid mistakes.
Yeah, you see?
It could be the woman making the same mistake. People pay dearly for their mistakes. Do you know what this mistake can cost? It can cost their entire relationship
life.
for something foolish, for a few minutes of pleasure, for money, for nothing. So these two people could really be best for each other, but because one or the two of them make a stupid mistake,
You're right.
they can destroy the relationship. It usually doesn't happen. When people get divorced, many times they're not soulmates anyway. But sometimes people don't have the right values.
Yeah.
They don't have religion in their life. They don't have God in their life. They only
Yes.
are selfish and think about themselves.
Themselves.
And they spoil relationships. People have to have a desire and a true interest to succeed. When you go underneath the chuppah and you put the ring on your wife, you have to make a declaration to yourself too, I want this marriage to succeed.
Of
I will do
course.
everything in my life to make it work. Not everybody's so serious.
Yeah.
People are selfish, and that's why they end up in divorce.
Recently, many people don't want to get married. Why it's happening? What is it? What's going on?
Do you know that, unfortunately, there is a very, very powerful influence from the environment that one lives in?
Yes.
The environment, the society,
It's not
America
healthy.
is not so healthy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure you remember when you were younger, people wanted to get married, people wanted to have families.
Yes.
In today's generation, people don't have so much of an interest. Unfortunately, they see how many have gotten divorced. That discourages
They
them.
are afraid.
They are afraid. And for some, it's so expensive because I need to impress my friends, buy flowers, and bring a Persian singer who costs $10,000. Yeah.
Only
Because-
this?
Yeah.
Rabbi, only
Maybe
this?
more.
No.
Yeah. You see all this pressure, and then they can be very picky. And you know what it means to be picky? I want her to
Yeah.
be so tall with blue eyes. She has to be beautiful and money. And he has to be at least a dentist. Right? Otherwise, no girl in the Persian community will take him. Is that fair?
Only doctors?
Is that normal? But that's what happens in the Persian community. There are other communities who have other problems. But as I said, in this society, only here, not in Latin America where I come from.
Yeah.
In Latin America, people are much loving. People are willing to sacrifice. People are willing to give in. People are not so picky. This society in America, and maybe in other countries too, has become very cold, not interested in true love, in a true strong relationship. Too materialistic. This society is very materialistic, and that's why they're looking for money and for looks. The TV, the internet has a terrible influence.
Yes, I know.
This is what our kids are growing up. We have to be very careful. If we don't give them the right values and we don't teach them what they should be looking for, they're going to make the same mistakes the non-Jewish world makes.
Excuse me, Rabbi, how many hours the children are with us? Most of the time they are outside, they are in society, they are in internet. it's not that much like before, so you can have influence your children.
That's a very good point. The teachers and the friends have tremendous influence. But you
Yes.
know what difference the parents can make?
What?
Even though you are right that they only spend little time,
Yes.
if the parents are a good example,
Yeah, you're
if the
right.
parents have a good relationship, that will be the best teacher for the children.
100%. I believe you.
Yeah.
I saw many people,
Yeah.
wife say something, husband say something else. There
That's
is
right.
like a fighting and poor children.
That's right.
Do you believe in matchmaker?
Matchmaking is something that can be very handy. It
Yes.
can be very useful for several reasons. Reason number one, like real estate.
Yes.
You're looking for a home to buy or to sell. You could use some help.
Yes.
You can't contact everybody. A broker helps to sell or helps you buy a home. A matchmaker has time. She or he has the interest in helping you. You don't have so much time. A matchmaker can therefore find an individual, or if she or he is the messenger, depending on...
Like internet.
Yeah, it depends. Yes, it's possible. That's one advantage. The second advantage of a matchmaker is sometimes it's not comfortable for you to say no to the girl. Sometimes you want to tell somebody else,
Yeah.
please tell them this, please tell them that. So you want somebody in between the two of you. And number three, whenever you have a matchmaker, then the whole relationship is more modest. You don't go directly to the girl. There's a little bit of distance, and that is healthy.
Which one is better? This one?
The matchmaker
Is better?
maintains some distance between the two until they get very comfortable with each other. During the first few dates, you don't want to get too close. You can't even touch. You need somebody to help preserve the distance between you and the girl.
Yes.
Because during the first few dates, you don't know if you are for each other.
You're
Right.
right.
People sometimes make a show. So therefore, it's good, it's an advantage many times to have a matchmaker, but not everyone's marriage comes about through a matchmaker. It depends how he wants it to happen. Maybe you meet her in the street. Maybe you meet her in a friend's home. Maybe you meet her on a Shabbat table. She or he was invited
in
to
a
the same guest.
temple,
You
or
never
maybe-
know, but a matchmaking is also possible.
Yes.
Yes.
So what is your best suggestion for those people who wants to get married?
It's like I said, there has to be a sincere interest. Are
Yes.
you really, really interested to get married?
Me?
No, not you.
Long time ago.
You have to really have a sincere interest.
Yes.
You have to be careful how you're conducting yourself.
Yes.
Not with a girlfriend-boyfriend situation. You have to be pure. You can't have too many unreasonable expectations. You have to be open-minded. And you have to pray.
Yeah, of
You have to
course.
pray a lot that God should help you find the right person. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Rabbi Kin.
Likewise.
I hope to see you very soon.
Thank you.
بینندگان عزیز، با تشکر فراوان از جناب ربای کین با ما همراه باشید.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.